Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Boom Bar. My name is Shola Rogers.
And my name is Ola Delukwa.
Together, we will take you on a 1 hour drive through 2021.
Yeah.
Still talking music, sports, entertainment, and everything in between.
Yes. It's a wonderful. It's been a wonderful year actually. It's been a very eventful one. Very eventful.
Tell me about it.
And of course, we're here. We at Boom Radio. We wish you a happy new year in advance. It's just about a day away. Well, of course, we definitely will be here all through the new year.
By God's grace.
By God's grace.
That's the plan.
So,
And like Dolupo said, it's been an interesting year.
very interesting one, actually.
It's a year that's had everything in it.
Everything.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. And so we're asking you guys to be a part of this. You could see that we're streaming. If you don't know, if you're just listening, but you want to see the guys who are talking and you want to leave us a message or something, go check out Boom Bedu on Facebook. We're streaming on Facebook. We're streaming on YouTube, Boom Radio NG, and we're also live on Instagram. Search for Shola Rogers. That's SOLAROGERS, and check out the stream. Be a part of it. Leave us a message on there. And of course, from January, like we said, we're going to be doing a lot of WhatsApp messaging.
Yeah, definitely.
And all of that. We're
There's
creating WhatsApp groups and stuff.
Inclusion on that.
Yeah.
Definitely. On that. So, on that note, I think we should just begin. As Esther had said earlier, the show today is just going to be reminiscing a lot of things that have happened all through the
2021.
year. It's
and we're not taking it chronologically. We're not going to say, in January.
No.
We'll be doing that sometime tomorrow.
But
today we want to
it's just
touch on
as
many things
that just pop up as we go. We have a long list, but even if you have something to add to this list, please go ahead. We definitely will be
I like to start on a sad note, actually.
Okay.
I like to start on I don't know why I still feel this way about the passing of Sound Sultan.
Yeah, I was not really gonna say it, but
I know we lost a lot of people in entertainment this year, but like I said, I want to start on a sad note. I cannot wrap my head around it, saying that he was still very active on Instagram. It wasn't very active on Twitter. It was Instagram. He was still posting, a few days or a few weeks, less than a week or two before we lost our Sultan to the cold hands of death. It was cancer, and it's still very painful. We've lost a lot of people, I'm not going to lie, but maybe because I hold him personally in high esteem, is someone that I actually love or loved like a friend and a brother. I liked him. I liked Sound Sultan a lot.
I think that
there was nothing about Sound Sultan that I didn't like.
That's it. I think that was what really hit a lot of people, because there was no scandal about him. Like everybody had something good to say about him.
The thing is, even with the people who had scandals, Sound Sultan was not going to judge you. It was not judgmental. It was not going to say because he is not into this kind of lifestyle, he's going to talk down on this. No, he was just that all-around good guy.
Yeah, he was.
So
that you cannot even.
I can't get over Sound Sultan's passing. The Sound Sultan that I know, the businessman, the basketballer, the actor, the singer, the rapper, the comedian.
It was an all-round person. Person. Yeah, it was sad, but it is what it is.
The family man, the husband. South Sultan was there for his family.
And talking about it,
so painful.
it has been announced that there's going to be a, what's it called now? A concert.
A tribute concert.
A tribute concert at Festac for him. Two-Face is going to headline it. It's I think that is someone that is very difficult to forget as a person. It's definitely someone that you can say is very difficult to forget. But before we go back to all that, I thought we were going to start with what has the topic.
We didn't have anything that we were going to do, but I've wanted to get that off my chest and really express my sincere feelings because we're talking 2021.
Yeah.
Take it from me. Maybe I'm driven by my personal experience that I have not shared openly here, you know. So yeah, so you can take it any way you want to. It's
it's something that happened in 2020, and we thought we had seen it all in 2020. Then 2021 came, and it's like we can't just get enough. Like, when are we going to catch a break? And it's really talking about COVID.
Oh, you thought you had seen it all in 2020?
Like, you know, everybody.
Were you one of those?
It was
people?
almost like.
No, people were. But were you?
I think I was at the
God.
point. I was like, okay, enough for 2020 was. I think it was probably like heart wrenching for a lot of people. There was so much in 2020. Like, okay, and then not like I was looking forward to 2021, but like, okay, can we finally catch a break?
You see, until people realize that a year is just a group of days.
Yeah, it's just I agree with you. It was
every day.
It's just the next day. It's just the next day.
And
I agree.
you just take it one day at a time. I definitely didn't fall into that category of people because I looked around me. People were still carrying on like there was nothing happening. Barely a week ago, I still had a discussion with someone who was telling me that, look, everybody's going to have COVID, so why are you covering your face? Someone said that to me.
People that say those things.
And I said, look, I respect your view, but I disagree with you. I am not going to take any chances. Because everybody will get COVID means I should go and expose myself. Say, okay, yeah, COVID
the one that even shocks me when people say things like that is because what are people that have died from COVID? Who says if you get it, yeah, everybody's going to get COVID. At this point, I don't dispute that fact. Yeah? But what it is that your body has that the COVID is going to meet, I won't take chances.
And again,
I honestly don't.
Apart from the things that you might have in your body, the ailments or whatever that COVID might accentuate, some people don't go back to normal.
That's it. Some people already have
lungs or breathing. Some people don't go back to normal.
They don't.
So look, the thing is, I think it's a no-brainer for me.
I just don't want
when I see that there are simple things that I can do. There are simple things like wearing a mask on a regular.
It's simple. It's a simple thing. You know, there's something
that's in my mind. I was one of the people who hated the idea of a mask. I didn't like it when it first came out. I'm like, why do we have to wear a mask? So there was a why. The answer was there. Science was showing us the effects of wearing a mask as against not wearing a mask.
And it's funny how so my mom says that I know I have underlying issue. I don't want to find out. So let me just abide by rules. And I'm telling you, and I think that, and what I was going to talk about with COVID was the end of 2020. We started seeing variants. Like, it started with the Alpha variant, which was discovered 18th of December 2020, which was a few days to 2021. Same day was when the Beta variant 2 was also found, which was found in the Alpha variant was the United Kingdom, and South African variant was designated 18th of December 2 was also the South African one. And it was still mild and everybody was still talking about back and forth. Then came 11th of January with the Brazilian variant, which they call the Gamma variant. And then it was kind of mind-blowing. Then came the Delta variant. which is, I think up till today, still the deadliest of variants. And that was like April 11th to around May when we really knew, okay, there was a Delta variant, which was the Indian variant, yeah? Then, just more than a few weeks ago, came the Omicron variant again. And honestly,
And they skipped a letter to get to Omicron.
yeah, and I'm at a point
Because if you're
where,
doing Greek letters, Omicron is not after Delta.
and I'm at a point where, when are we really going to catch a break from COVID? There was reports today that the World Health Organization has come out to say that COVID is going to end in 2022. Is it?
No, the prediction, this is not the first time they're saying it.
Is
They said
it really?
by the end of 2022, we should be rid of it, or we should have fully contained it, going by certain projections of the way it's been handled. But if you look around you, the numbers are on the up. On Monday, there were 8 deaths recorded in Nigeria.
Yeah,
on Tuesday, there were 2 deaths recorded
everywhere.
in Nigeria. Last week, we had a peak of over 4,000 cases reported in one day, the highest we've ever had. And as it stands now, isolation centers are being reactivated. Hospitals are
like
going to be taking
in the
more
UK,
people.
they had announced today that the field hospitals are back to opening now because hospitals can't contain COVID patients anymore, and it's something that just never left.
So the thing about it still is that it's a global village now, and people are traveling. People will travel, no matter the restrictions. Even when the Omicron variant was announced, and erroneously, Nigeria and 10 other countries were placed on a red list by the UK and a few other countries. People were still going to those countries, and they were rerouting their trips. The case of some Nigerians who had issues at the Togolese airport is because these are people who wanted to come home, and they had to go and get a flight one way or the other, so they ended up in Togo, and they were waiting for a connecting flight that would bring them to Nigeria.
Yeah.
They would never have gone to Togo for no reason
yeah.
if it wasn't for this. So the thing is, restricting people and all of that is good on paper. Although now, at least they're saying in retrospect, it was not necessary because the community spread is
still massive, yeah.
But the thing is that even if you have to travel, if you go through all the proper protocols, like be fully vaccinated, either the Johnson & Johnson single shot and the boosters now, or the double vax of all the other brands.
I'm talking about boosters now. Now we're getting to a point where there's a fourth. Looks like some countries are already getting a 4th dose. And I was reading a report as of last week that looks like COVID vaccines is going to be every 6 months.
Yeah, it's something that I'd already suggested. I think they should come and give me a medal or something, even without being a scientist. We know that Israel has approved the fourth
dose
shots for people and all of that. So what we're saying is, if you're going to travel, be fully vaxxed, either double or single vaxxed, get your boosters, but most especially the PCR testing. Some countries recommend 2 within the space of 8 days, some 2 within the space of 48 hours. Whatever it is, make sure that
PCR,
you go through.
There was a report yesterday that the FDA had come out to say that.
What is the FDA?
The Food Drug Administration in the United States had come out to say that the PCR tests is not very effective when it comes to the Omicron variant.
So that's science. Science is still evolving. We're still learning things, So get your test done. Get all of these things done because you have to travel. Now, again, isolation. People are not observing all the protocols. You have gone across borders. You have gone interstate. You have gone into public places and all. Are you isolating? Have you done the mandatory 3 to 7 days isolations and all of that? All of these things will help us curb it. But if the WHO is projecting, they must be able to carry everybody along and say, look, these are the things that we need to do to get back to normal or almost normal.
And so I think we should move off that. Yeah. So of course we know that COVID was one major thing that happened in 2021 and is still happening. If a ton of people died in 2020, ton of people are still dying in 2021. So even as the year is coming to an end and there's probably going to be celebrations and moving around, we need to be careful at the end of the day. And another thing that happened in 2021, and this is two different people, yeah, and it's the issue of I'm going to start from the issue of what happened in Oyo State, where a few people in a particular town seemed to be ravaged by so-called Fulani herdsmen, and it was like a daily occurrence, and it was really disheartening. Like, people were dying on a daily basis on droves and all. And then someone came up by the name of Sunday Igboho, yeah, and he was like that it was his town and he was going to fight for people, and he went with a few people, chased out because there's a large chunk of Fulani settlement or Hausa settlement in that area of Oyo State. That's Igongo. And we saw how the Serki of the Hausa place there was chased out, this house burnt, cars burnt, and there was a back and forth. Then the government, the state government and the federal government intervened, and everybody was like, okay, there was a lot of people like, is it right? Is it not right? There was, back and forth. And then there was the Inspector General of Police. Before then his house got raided, where it was said, I think about 3 people got killed. That's Sunday Igboho's house. Then it wasn't, there were a few people that were arrested. Then they didn't find him. Then he was declared wanted. And all we heard was news that he was caught in Benin Republic at the airport. And there was a lot of stories there where he was trying to travel with the Benin Republic passport to Germany with his wife, his wife is a German citizen, and back and forth, and they were both arrested, and I think a day or two after his wife was released. But here we are, we're talking about Sunday Igboho, and the last of what we heard is that he's still in detention in Benin Republic. His trial is not ongoing. Nothing is happening.
Well, a few days ago, that was yesterday, his spokesperson was monitored on a podcast and several streams, and he is alleging that Igboho's life is in danger, and also he lamented the slow legal process in Benin Republic. Then he said that their lawyer, the Beninois lawyer that they had also hinted that it might be a presidential pardon or something that would get him out. Now, this is where diplomacy comes to play. For a guy who is at loggerheads with his own home government, how does he get the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Nigeria
to help with his
NIDCOM,
case,
who is in charge of diaspora and all of that, headed by Abike Dabiri, or the president, to come to the president of Benin Republic to say, oh, he's a Nigerian. Look, you know what? Okay, he has broken your laws, we know. Can we handle it on Nigerian soil? And we'll carry you guys along and all of that. That is going to be
very difficult,
virtually impossible
at this point.
So Sunday Igboho is in dire straits, is in a very precarious situation, and I don't know how this is going to pan out. Now, I had always seen him dressed with a lot of charms and amulets.
Oh, really,
and
you're
stuff.
going there. You're going there.
Am I not supposed to do my job?
Wow.
So I'd seen him dressed with all these charms and amulets, and trust me, a lot of us were in awe. Like, look, this guy has some serious
Like he's just going to
powers
disappear and
stuff.
all.
So then I start to question a lot of things. You know, there was a time that videos emerged. We saw the videos on his way back to Ibadan from a meeting somewhere in Lagos. Sunday Igboho's convoy was stopped by a task force of sorts, a group of different law enforcement bodies stopped his vehicle. There was a little bit of fracas here and there, and at the end of the day, he walked away from the place. You get so a lot that added a lot to the hype about how powerful Sunday Igboho is. There's been stories of how he could conjure a gun out of thin air. There are movies about it. There's actually a movie about it. So again, I'm not even trying to poke fun at him or anything. Why do we believe these things? Because when it's time for the powers to be involved,
push comes to shove,
it's not happening.
It does not
because
happen.
Ideally, he should walk out of that prison and just basically disappear. I'm telling you, because again, that calls to question a lot of things, But having said that, again, the incidents of Fulani in quote herdsmen has been on the decline, not on the increase. Nobody can explain that thing.
Yeah.
Nobody.
How is it
I'm not going to
that-
sit down here and claim, it's because Sunday Igboho was. No, I'm not going to come and say.
Because after Sunday Igboho was removed from the
cannot
equation,
explain it.
if there was still the Fulani herdsmen thing, how is it that they're not back there?
You can't explain it. There were several cases in Ogun State, several cases in Ondo, several cases in Oyo, Osun, especially in the southwest.
Yeah,
in fact, virtually every part of Nigeria.
It was a lot.
So this led to the governors coming together in the southwest to form the Amotekun Corps. And of course, because there's no federal law backing the creation, they had to create these things in pockets in their states.
In their states, yeah.
When it started, a lot of the governors in other regions
even
criticized
the presidency
criticized
was
it.
against
But
it.
now everybody is replicating the same Amotekun system in the southeast and different parts of the north. This leads us to the point where we need to realize once again that a country that is said to be within 100 to 200 million people, we don't know. There are just estimations here and there of Nigeria's population. We are under-policed. The Nigerian military, at some point, when the civilians took over, they virtually put a freeze on the recruitment of soldiers. And they were drawing down on the troops. So Nigeria did not have any form of military empowerment
it
and
almost seems like
expansion
it was out of fear.
for so many years. All through Obasanjo's time, you can't come out to tell us how many times they will tell you they recruited new people into the army.
And people were
how much
retiring
of
in
equipment were they
droves.
buying and all of that. So, in essence, we are under-policed and our military was not up to par anymore. It had an history of being powerful, but of course we lost that. And of course the insurgency in different parts of the north, the issues in the northeast, north central,
Which I
and
feel that
northwest.
if it was nipped in the bud early enough, we won't be where we are today. And
So in all of this, personally, I hope that Sunday Igboho gets out of trouble in Benin Republic.
But he still has issues in Nigeria.
In
as
Nigeria, it will now have to answer to the laws of the land and all the allegations that have been made against it. But however, recently, one of the people that was arrested, who was allegedly an herbalist, or I know herbalist is not a bad thing that we think it is.
The person that was arrested during the
one of the people that was
rally in Lagos.
No. One of the Sunday Igboho guys that has been freed because all the allegations against him have been dropped.
Dropped.
So maybe, just maybe, some of the allegations against Igbo will be dropped.
There's some light at
they
the
cannot
end of the
make
tunnel.
it stick.
There's some light
I don't know how he's going to wiggle out.
But right now, the
he
first
needs
thing
a
is that he needs
large
to,
chunk of
like
money
you said,
to get a strong legal team behind him that will help him walk his way out.
We know it's a lot of diplomacy involved now.
Again, I've always also been of the opinion that yes, crime is on the increase, but they're not necessarily intruders. Some intruders are causing trouble.
Oh yes.
But what about your local
thieves? It's just
thieves?
the local. It looks to me also
there are local kidnappers,
local thieves that are just become more emboldened.
people who are based.
We see it every single time about how
in Warri,
when people are caught, how you see that the people in the local area is really not someone that was imported from the north or someone. It's always people around. They say, even if, let's take the north for example, it is the northerners that are killing the northerners. We see videos. I remember there was a video that I saw of a man that his daughter was kidnapped, I think in the southeast, only for them to, by the time they were caught, to realize that it was people from the same local government as them. And this happens in the southeast, happens in the south, happens in the southwest, happens every single where. We see how it's the same thing over and over again. But don't let us dwell so much on that. And still close to issues with Nigeria, and because of course this year there was a lot of talk of secession. Everybody wants to. There is the Yoruba Nation. There is the Biafra. That's the indigenous people of Biafra. And we know that it was this year, specifically June this year, that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, was rearrested and brought back to Nigeria. And this had, I know that he has been on the run for a few years now because he basically jumped bail, which there's a part of that story I do not understand, where remember that this is also like close to this too, where a particular person jumped bail in the person of Maina, Abdul Rashid Maina, and the person that stood shorty for him was in jail for about 5 days because he couldn't produce him. But the person that stood shorty for Nnamdi Kanu was roaming free.
He is campaigning to be governor of his state now.
And campaigning to be governor and all that. And I'm like, why so much double standards? I agree with the angle that it is in the purview of the judge, which kudos to the judge that sent the senator to prison. Sorry, but you decided to stand shorty for someone that was not credible. In the first place, I don't even want to be shorty for someone that's supposed to be. In fact, he's a criminal now because he's officially like being sentenced. So that's a part of that story I do not understand. But of course, he also is standing trial, and everything all happened this year. And these two stories of Sunday Igboho and Nnamdi Kanu, they both claiming that they want freedom for their people and all that, which yes, maybe because Sunday Igboho's own was easily clipped or it was easily nipped in the bud. We saw the amount of violence, chaos, killings that happened in the southeast that is still happening. The issue of sit-at-home thing started this year. It didn't start this year, but was really pronounced this year. We saw how even economically there was so much damage that was done in the southeast that there was a time that was in the month of November that there was reports that the economy of Kano alone, just Kano as one state, was actually, it had gained way much more than the whole southeast region. And you could see what some set of people had done to a particular region. And all this happened in 2021. Exactly. It's a very sad thing. But, you know, it is two stories. There's something that, I don't know if it's, but one thing that resonates with me is that if the government of anybody, of any country, is ready to deal with you, you will be dealt with. That's what I take away from these two stories. Like, can you really successfully fight the government and win?
Yeah.
Like, I see a lot of people say a lot of things and do a lot of things, and in my mind I'm like, I'm sure the government does not have your time. If they have your time, you won't be where you are, or you won't be saying the things that you say.
Well, people who know will say that he that comes to equity must come with clean hands. And in some cases, a few people who have gone ahead with clean hands they've come out and gotten only recently did the court pronounce one of the people that was being prosecuted, one of the judges that was as a free man and all of that. You get like that she's all been addressed as a criminal or whatever. So you never can tell if you have a hair tight case or you have a technicality that you can hold on to and all of that, But in all of this, it's just going to be about living in a glass house and throwing stones. You must be sure that your glass house is solid glass house. Because when you start to throw those stones, it's the same stones that they will hold back at you. That will
definitely be held back at you. And let's move on a bit of politics. Before we come to Nigerian politics and a lot of things that happened. And in January this year, specifically January 20th this year, the U.S. got a new president. They were officially rid of Donald Trump.
You can't even go to that without moving back a few days to, I think, the 6th of January when there was more or less
the attack on the Capitol.
One of the dumbest mob actions I've ever seen in my entire life. They said the revolution would not be televised. This was televised on TV, and it was a dumb thing by a group of people who were trying to destroy democracy, and they claimed that they were trying to protect it. You contested an election and lost. And for the first time in the history of monitoring U.S. elections that I have done all my life, I saw a president that refused to acknowledge that he had lost or congratulate the winner of the elections. But of course, the law kicks in because there were a lot of discussions of will he leave around this time last year. Will he leave? What can they do?
Yeah.
But of course, the U.S. democracy is so robust, it's so organized that at some point we were made to see that Donald Trump will legitimately lose power, even if he refuses to
leave the White House.
He would legitimately lose power, and the military will stop responding to him. The codes for the
will be changed.
For the ball will be changed, and a lot of things would happen. It will happen, and those things happened. Those things happened.
Oh, it definitely happened.
Or without him. It's like, he didn't even attend the inauguration. He did not.
It was his vice president that's
Joe Biden over. At the White House. He didn't do any of those things. But where is he now?
Still, everything's.
And Biden is president.
He has an app.
Biden is president.
He has an app.
I'm happy.
So that's one of the things that definitely happened in 2021. But coming back to Nigeria and politics in Nigeria, that was Bola Tinubu and his illness. There was so much talk about him. Bola Tinubu is an ABC chieftain. He used to be a former governor of Lagos State, which up until now a lot of people have issues with, and he has not held an office in forever. But anyway, we know it's not that he holds some level of influence in Nigerian politics.
Some level.
No, it's good to be modest.
They don't call him the Jagaban for nothing, right?
So the Jagaban definitely was really ill this year. We saw a lot of politicians, even the president actually went to see him in London.
Well, it was not like the president got on the plane and said,
"Yeah, he was in London."
Bola Tinubu in London. The president went for his own business too. You understand? The man has business in London.
And then we saw
business. Sorry, I don't mean it derogatory. He had a meeting in London, then he stopped to see his associate.
And we saw the president, talking about the president, travel a lot this year. Even though the year before, the previous year, it was a lot of health issues. This year, it was like, I don't know, maybe I'm the one that noticed. It was a lot of, the president was a lot more vibrant this year. There was a lot more meetings attended.
The United Nations.
It was
at the climate change event in France. It was somewhere in Europe at some point.
Yeah, it was
then
like in every global meeting. It was really
the man was here.
It was here and there. It was here and there this year. It was like all over the place, and it was funny how you saw like virtually a lot of governors and kings and here and there going to see Bola Tinubu in London, and it was a thing when he came back to Nigeria. And when he got back
again, it was the same thing.
It was a whole lot. And still talking about politics, yeah. This year we saw how PDP transitioned, how they moved from one party chairman to another. And the year before was the drama that happened with Adams Oshiomhole, which do they even still have a party chairman?
That's in the APC.
I think in the APC they still have like interim chairman and all that. They still haven't sorted theirs out. But PDP seems to have officially sorted theirs out, as we saw the former chairman took the people to court, and how he didn't want them to have a convention. And there was a lot of back and forth on that. That's
politics for you. The former chairman of the PDP seemed to have lost the support of most of the governors of the party and all the big wigs in the party. Of course, they were done with him. He fought for his dear life. He did a lot. So a lot of issues here and there, back and forth. You know, Ckay Secondus did all he could to hold on to power. He would go to court in one state. There will be a judgment in Rivers State. He will go to court in another state. There will still be another judgment in Rivers State.
It just didn't happen.
And all of that. And at the end of the day, you know, the PDP, they've come together. They've repackaged themselves. They're going to come at the APC fully in 2022.
So we'll see how that goes,
There's a new party chairman. He's been talking tough.
There's a new structure.
And they've been doing a lot of reconciliations amongst themselves. You know, at some point they had Senator Bukola Saraki heading a certain committee that went around the country trying
doing
to
that. We saw how
so the results of that.
There's a former presidential candidate that has become a PDP member now. The person of Dele Momodu. Why are you quiet? It's part of stuff that happened in 2021.
It is actually.
And still talking about politics, we saw how people did a lot of cross-carpeting. This year there was a whole lot. And we saw how it was this year that Governor Ayade moved to the APC. And the most shocking, I won't say for everybody, but for me, was Femi Fani-Kayode.
Who is bankrolling you? Who is bankrolling you?
Boom Radio at the moment.
No. Who is bankrolling you?
I don't know.
You know, a few months before that time, he had come at a journalist who basically asked him a question. If he
was going back.
Who is bankrolling him? Because he was going about the country inspecting projects that governors were carrying out. And I'm like, in what capacity? I always wondered, in what capacity was Femi Fani-Kayode
what exactly are you doing?
But at the end of the day, after all said and done, people had leaked that it was going to cross, and he denied it vehemently.
My own is, why don't you just keep quiet about it if you know it's still going to happen?
You know, I like the man. He's very smooth. You know, he's suave.
I saw a few days ago. Yeah, a few days ago, I saw a headline where he was talking about how Nigerians just like to talk about him, like it's just always in the news. And I'm like, what?
Now he's done that because you were not talking about him for a long time.
Yeah, like he's in the news a lot about politics. Then the news about court cases here and there about
some personal issues that we don't want to talk about.
What's it called? No, that's what. That he beat his wife and he's withholding his children. The man is in a lot of court cases and he's in the news a lot, and I think that at a point he actually enjoys being in the news a lot.
Well,
my own personal opinion. And still talking about, let's move to a bit.
So
of
you're
news.
still listening to Boom Radio NG, and you're watching us out there on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And we're doing a review of the year 2021. And if you want to be a part of it, remember that you can search for us, Boom Radio NG on YouTube, Boom Bedu on Facebook, Shola Rogers on Instagram. Put up a message there. Let us know what you think about what we talked about and what you think we have not talked about should be talking about.
So moving to a bit of news from the army. Sadly, the chief of army staff actually died this year in a plane crash with, I think, about 8 other people.
There were other generals.
On that plane as well. Sadly, it happened in Nigeria, and a few weeks ago, it also happened in India as well. And still talking about the army, it was also this year they actually got delivery of the rest of the Super Tucanos.
Yeah, all 12 of them.
All 12 of them.
That's the Nigerian Air Force.
Came in this year, and it was with the and there was immediate deployment of it. Yeah.
And in between that time, they got a couple of choppers from Turkey and other parts.
Yeah.
And then again, there's been a large, influx of equipment. They got their drones from China. And only 24 hours
and a
ago,
lot of the Nigerian made
the land mine clearing virtual vehicles were deployed yesterday, and the tests were done, and it looks very good. The MRAPs that they acquired from Proforce in Nigeria, and the other company in Kaduna.
Remember a few weeks ago, the president came to Lagos to commission
the gunboats that
from
and another one is being constructed at the moment. So
I think it was a very good year for the Nigerian army.
You would for the Nigerian military
generally.
You see that a lot of funds
there was the influx
pumped into hardware, military hardware, and more people were being recruited and all of that. Again, there was that crazy kidnapping of a military person,
the military general.
That's crazy.
It was leaked that he had died, and then they now rescued him, and you're wondering, how did all these stories come?
All of that in 2021.
I'm talking about stories, still in 2021. We know that Twitter was officially banned. Then they said it was suspended. Why are you shaking your head? And then began the official use of VPN to use in Nigeria.
VPN entered our lexicon and our dictionary and our bibliography.
Exactly.
All of that. What is a VPN? Which one be VPN again now? Oh, really?
And overnight,
you had to get
a
virtual private network. Of course, it's got its own advantages. It's got its own huge disadvantages and all of that. So the issue between the Nigerian government and Twitter is not a matter in isolation.
Mm-hmm.
But after all said and done, I just want us to move on from that. Can they quickly settle the last point that they're waiting for?
Settle this thing and let's
move
on.
So that Nigerians can actually get back fully on Twitter. Because look, believe it or not, that is the source of livelihood for so many people.
I agree with you.
So many people.
I agree with you. And still talking about social media, it was this year that Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Before we even get to that, we know that officially the parent company of this became Meta.
Yeah, because they're moving to the metaverse.
Facebook, they're moving to the metaverse. And it was this year for, I think, about 8 hours. Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp actually shut down.
Of course, you know that they all belong to the same company and probably had the same server or the same power unit or whatever happened to them. But
there was a major shot.
It was a global event. It was a social apocalypse. And a lot of people, for the first 2-3 hours, a lot of people didn't realize that it was happening. Then when you finally realize that it was happening, then you start to look, Facebook is involved. I thought it was only WhatsApp.
I thought it was only WhatsApp,
Instagram is not working. Oh, really? So it was all of them. And it shows how dependent mankind is really on social media. When it comes to social media, we've become so attached to these applications, and they're just apps.
They're just apps at the end of the day.
But we're so attached to them that
we definitely are.
When anything happens, we feel like. Then again, anytime that, like for instance, last year there was a minor scare, and there was not. It wasn't a rumor. There was the announcement by WhatsApp that some phones will not work on it again.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
some
I think
restrictions
they do that.
were going to
They do
happen.
that.
So when they did that, when that announcement came out, a lot of people rushed to Telegram. A lot of people rushed to. There was another new app that became very popular.
Yeah, and
I've forgotten the name.
I'm not
People
interested.
got on all of those things.
Like you can come and carry
Then-
their app.
Then when this happened again, Telegram gained massively. As
yes,
it stands
it
now,
did.
it is now the standard for everybody to have Telegram and WhatsApp. So one man's
Maybe
meet.
not me.
It is standard for like
A lot
of people.
A lot of people.
One man's
a lot of people.
meat is another man's poison. But in this case, one man's meat is another man's meat because everybody wants to have meat.
Everybody wants
It's just
to
that
have
in
both.
different proportions.
Yeah.
So as it stands now, a lot of people gained even from that outage. Because
outage,
Twitter
yeah.
was. You should have seen the jokes on Twitter. People were poking fun at Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp.
I really
it
just
was
hope that
hilarious.
whatever it is,
You know?
it doesn't happen to some apps like Twitter, because they always, like, everybody's always going off on Twitter and everything. You're very quick to run to Twitter and do all these things. But
And
quickly,
it's the same 2021 that Twitter had the owner and founder hand over to some guy named Paraga.
oh gosh, you're going to do that.
That's his name.
Yeah, yes, I know.
I ain't done
You're just-
nothing.
you're just
His name
going
is
to-
Paraga.
You're just going to be you. Anyway, before we're actually like almost out of time, so I just want to breeze through a few things. Yeah, it is in 2021 that Afghanistan and the Taliban takeover. It's really sad. It's still sad.
So
It looks like
Donald Trump has signed a deal to pull out at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and of course Biden had to follow
through
with it. And when they asked Joe Biden if this was not basically inviting the Taliban, if you withdraw, and he said no, it was barely 24 hours after they pulled out. The guys rolled on the city, took over, and now the Taliban are fully in charge.
Officially
Things
in
have
charge.
gone back to what they were 20 years ago.
Yeah, and moving from that, it was the same year, just a few weeks ago, that first time ever in Nigeria, the Miss Nigeria. There's a first hijab wearing Miss Nigeria.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Very pretty young lady.
Very pretty.
Congratulations
18-year-old.
to her and her parents for being able to allow her
Actually
go
break down
through
the
to this and all of that.
it's amazing.
It's a good thing.
It's
a good
amazing.
thing.
And also a few movies that actually like just broke box office and was amazing in the year 2021. One movie that even got people jailed in some countries, Squid Game.
Yeah, Squid Game, very gory, full of blood and stuff.
Basically,
that's why
the
I've not seen it,
Netflix show ever.
and I will not see it.
It was really huge.
But if blood and guns are your thing, man, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's a very nice movie.
Yeah.
They're talking about how there's going to be season 2 of it. It's the same year that we had the Coming to America. That's Coming to America Part 2.
Which I still haven't seen.
I still haven't seen that movie as well, you know. It's the same year, just a few weeks ago, that we had Matrix Resurrection, which everybody's
Which
saying that
they
it's
say is
really,
bad, so I
really
don't
bad.
want to
I'm
see.
not going to see. It's the same year we had Marvel Eternals, which had issues with the Nigerian cinema, that they had to delay the screening for a few weeks because they said they had to remove some things. The
Some
Nigerian
scenes-
Film Board
Yeah.
was not going to allow it air in
Yeah.
Nigeria if some scenes were not removed. Also, just a few weeks ago, Spider-Man No Way Home, which is literally
The biggest.
breaking all form of box office, is also out. And then coming to Nigeria, one of the most anticipated movies actually
Became a series.
became a series this year, and it was King of Boys.
Yeah, and I saw it all in one night.
Uh,
Amazing. I was not disappointed at all.
yeah, this was
Shola
coming
Shobowale,
from
Ilbliss, Reminisce, everybody. were on point.
everybody definitely.
Shout out to the producer of that one.
And talking about entertainment, yeah, this was year of the Wizkid. Let me just put it like that.
Yeah, the Wizkid
It was
breaking
Wizkid's
all
year,
records.
breaking
He's
everything.
won at least 25 awards
Awards
this year alone.
alone, from the BETs to the Mobile to
He's got
name
his
it, the
Grammy
Afrima,
nomination for
got-
his own work.
Got 2 Grammy nominations actually for
Yeah.
his own work this year alone. It was this year he had Essence
You know,
featuring Justin Bieber, the
they cracked
main
the billboards and everything, and
made,
every other chart
yeah,
across the globe,
made in Lagos.
even in South Korea.
Yeah. And talking about the billboards, another person that really did crack that was the person of Ckay, which was a
thanks to
song
TikTok.
that it was not even new song.
Yeah, it's like
but
2.5 years
this
old.
year it came up and it just it just made him huge.
And that has really created a massive followership for Ckay across the globe. He released the North African remix, and it's doing very well.
It's doing very,
online
very,
and
very
all of
well.
that. He has a new song called Emiliana that is pushing at the moment.
It's-
You all should go check it out.
We really should all go check it out, And still talking about music, yeah. It's the year that we saw P Square officially reconcile.
Yeah, so
Like,
the P became squared again.
It became squared again. It was same this year. It was also this year where there's a lot of Grammy nominations with Nigerians this
and,
year.
A record-setting one for Made Kuti and Femi Kuti on
Femi
their
Kuti.
Legacy project, Father and Son.
There is one of the albums that are actually nominated this year. I don't know.
Then
I
Femi
hope
Kuti got another nomination for his
that
performance.
Nigerians actually win this because it's sad, but I won't say it's sad, but every single time Angelique Kidjo is nominated in the same category as you.
Well, let's see how you.
Let's see how it pans out. Brother Boy is on this as well. There's Thames, there's of course there's Wizkid, there's Made
a great year Bonner too has had.
Yeah, very
packing
very,
out
very,
event venues in France and Germany.
very
in
very
America.
great. Yeah.
Is going to, have one of the biggest shows next year in America.
Yeah, in America at Madison Square. Also, it was the year where we heard Wizkid. Remember, yeah.
And
Olamide's album was something everybody was
the most streamed on Audiomack so far. The most streamed artist this year on Audiomack so far is Olamide.
As in,
he has garnered a lot of.
It was
streams.
a massive album that everybody was like, okay, what's this?
It brought out a different side
vibe
of
completely.
Olamide. You had already seen it in the album before Wizkid, but Wizkid
was just different.
Yeah,
it was completely
talent.
different. And sadly, before I actually let me just breeze through. Also, a few artists actually died this year.
Yeah.
A lot of a few celebrities,
entertainers
and all. It was this year that we saw Baba Sue, Rachel Oniga. It was same year that Victor Olauton died. It was same year that Ernest Azuzu died. You had talked about Sultan. Earlier, it was same year that Obama's, Davido's PA, Obama DMW, and his photographer actually died, and a few other people. It was really sad. A few days ago, I think it was Christmas Eve, we saw Archbishop Desmond Tutu actually.
Yeah, Baba Sue also passed on
a few weeks ago. It was a very very sad one on that note. And then before we leave, there was something that really happened that I think shook the core of Lagos, and not just the core of Lagos, the core of Nigeria. And it was just a few months ago, the Ikoyi building collapse.
Yeah.
And it was just like gist like this, and it was Boomba, and then immediately after Boomba, news just started pouring in, where over 50 people died.
Yeah.
Over 50 people died. I think there were about 11 survivors, but over 50 people died, including the owner of the building and a few other people. Not a few, but was quite a number of people that died. And there was now the story of how approvals and back and forth. And there were a few other buildings around Lagos too that actually collapsed around
the next day. There was a building collapse in Lekki.
In Lekki as well. And a few other things, and we saw how that really, really shook the core of.
There was another building collapse in Ikorodu before the Ikoyi one that also claimed the life of the owner.
Yeah, it was a
public holiday.
A public holiday and all that. It was really, 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 really sad. And most recently, we saw the drama with the Oni.
Yeah. Of course, that one is still shrouded in
secrecy.
It's
still going on.
The statement is out there for everybody to see that the Queen, in quote, says she's done with the marriage. But we heard that there are several moves going on behind the scene to reconcile them and make sure that she retracts that statement.
Yeah, and the story, last one we heard now is that she's back in the palace and all that. But, we never know. We'll see how that works. It was also this year that the Lagos Ibadan Rail actually officially started, and
after
people are really like into it. I saw videos and pictures of now that it was even free. There's almost no space anymore. And also, just most recently, before we get to that, there was also this year that there was issue with Tiwa Savage and her sex tape.
Yeah.
It was a year where she released her EP. Amazing EP, where she had a few people.
A collaboration. It was an album. Was it an EP like that?
I think it was an EP. It was just about 5-6 songs.
At least there was the collaboration with Teiwa. There was collaboration with Amari.
There was one with, I think, Nas. The biggest of it all was... Father.
But the biggest one, of course, is
somebody's song with Brandy. It's still like huge. It's still really huge. Good. Massive. It was definitely a good year for her. But then came the issue of the sex tape, and then
reason why we're talking about it is the way she handled it, like taking it head on and coming out and refusing to be blackmailed. Yeah. So shout out to Tiwa Savage.
Shout out to Tiwa Savage.
But you all need to take away cameras when you are doing the do, right?
You understand?
Nobody should record anything anywhere.
At the end of the day.
You hear? We don't want to hear this anymore.
And finally, before we go, the newest sensation in town, Portable.
What is that?
That was just
Zazu.
A few weeks ago.
Zazu.
And it wonders someone like Olamide can do to someone's life.
Yeah.
In a few weeks, we've seen him on the same stage with Tiwa Savage, with Wizkid, with Davido.
For you to understand how important Olamide was to the mix, there are 2 other versions of that song.
4.
Oh, 4.
They're actually 4.
I've heard 2 other versions of the
There
song.
are 4 other versions
Same
of
song.
the song.
With other artists.
Yeah.
And nothing happened. Nobody heard it.
Nobody heard it.
Olamide walks into the room.
In the space of weeks. This man is balling.
Weeks. Days.
He's
Olamide walks into the room.
balling.
And again, the idiocy of trying to cheat him out of his intellectual property, which has been nipped in the bud to a large extent. But we'll see how everything pans out. It's just good to see another one leave the ghetto. Hopefully,
I hope that it's
back.
not just a one-hit wonder. Yeah. And also, sadly, I saw a picture of someone posting him a few years ago and seeing him now and talking about how it was a lot of.
It was not necessary. You see, when I see stuff like that, I the guy who posted that is supposed to be a doctor, one of those Twitter doctors. You see, the thing is, do you know what he went through between that period? Why are we being judgmental? I'm not encouraging the use of drugs because he was saying look at the difference because there's a time when he was this good looking and look at what he's become. But there are people who don't do drugs who also go through that transition. You don't know what the guy's story is. So why do we always have to play up those kind of things just because we want clout? For me, I just hope that the Portable guy really makes something
out of himself, like really
every time
not everybody there's this one out of millions, and I really hope that he does something good for himself.
This year, a young man called Tunde Onakoya, who we have been monitoring and supporting quietly with, although he doesn't know, became like man of the year or close to man of the year
with the chess, and it's something that I would really like to.
He took chess to the slums of Oshodi under the bridge, and it's about to change now. As of yesterday, a billionaire who they don't want to name is sponsoring 5 of those kids to New York.
To New York, yeah.
New York. They're going there to play chess. You see them kids who sleep under the bridge. Last week they went for a meeting in Ckay and they were late after the meeting, so he felt instead of taking them back to the bridge, he put them in an hotel overnight, and those kids were balling. They were just happy to have a bed and a roof over their heads. So people are coming to their rescue. You guys can search for Tunde Onakoya on Twitter especially, and please, your widow's might, chess in slums.
He's doing amazing. He's doing
worth mentioning.
amazing stuff. And on that note, that is all we're able to take on the Boom Bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be very, very interesting. There's going to be a lot of people. In fact, there's going to be Boom Bar twice tomorrow. There's going to be 3 p.m. West African time. And there's going to be Boom Bar from around 11 p.m.-ish, right into the new year. So you do not want to miss the Boom Bars tomorrow. You definitely don't want to miss it. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very informative.
Yeah.
So catch us tomorrow with a few other people tomorrow.
We're going to have Bayo Akonde in the house. Yomi Kuku. and we're talking about AFCON.
It's going to be a very interesting one tomorrow. So catch us tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time on boomradio.com.ng. From us to you, it is peace.